My name is Wesley Roberts, and this presentation is entitled Revisiting the Evolution of Religious Forms Using the Dow-Eff Network Autocorrelation Approach to the Comparative Method. A 2008 article by Sanderson and Roberts entitled Evolutionary Forms of the Religious Life did much to advance the quantitative, comparative study of religion in the social sciences. In particular, it reassessed the use of the dependent variable high gods, the most common dependent variable used in this field of research, and generated an all-new dependent variable called stage of religious evolution. This variable operationalized the work of Anthony Wallace, who conceptualized religious forms in four major types: shamanic, communal, Olympian or polytheistic, and monotheistic. While the high gods variable focused heavily on a society's beliefs, such as the belief in a moral God with interests in human affairs, the stage of religious evolution variable focuses on beliefs and the social structure of religions, such as which members of society conduct religious rituals. 5 hypotheses were tested head-to-head using the high gods and stage of religious evolution variable. First, the sovereign groups hypothesis, which posits a relationship between religious complexity and the number of groups in a society with independent jurisdiction over social life. Next, a technological evolution hypothesis, which builds on the work of Gerhard Lenski and assumes a connectedness between technological complexity and religious complexity. The economic complexity hypothesis supposes a relationship between a society's economic type and religious type. Similarly, the social stratification hypothesis assumes a relationship between a society's amount of stratification and its preference in religious type. Finally, Alexander's societal size hypothesis posits a connection between the size of a society and the complexity of its religion. These 5 hypotheses were tested using societies and independent variables from the standard cross-cultural sample. The hypotheses were first tested using the high gods variable and binary logistic regression. The only hypothesis that received support was sovereign groups, and then only weakly. Next, the 5 hypotheses were tested using the stage of religious evolution variable and ordered logistic regression. Here, the results were much stronger all around, and the variable writing and records revealed itself as the strongest predictor of religious type, followed by subsistence economy and societal size. Thus, the societal size hypothesis was supported, and the authors argued that the subsistence economy variable contains hallmarks of economic and technological complexity, thus providing support to those hypotheses too. Sanderson and Roberts interpreted these results by arguing that increased social complexity, especially with the rise of agricultural societies, led to the support of full-time specialist priest classes. The advent of writing and records allowed these priest classes to share and spread their religious beliefs, but also to maintain social privileges and power. The current work revisits Sanderson and Roberts using a new method, Dow-Eff network autocorrelation. This method takes on Galton's problem, which suggests that cross-cultural data is unreliable because of shared traits between 2 geographically or historically close cultures. Dow-Eff network autocorrelation doesn't just avoid Galton's problem, but incorporates it into the analysis by using an autocorrelated dependent variable as a predictor variable. This model includes the following variables: our dependent variable, Evo God, with a stage of religious evolution coding; several compound variables, including a combination of Swanson's jurisdictional institutions in the presence of writing in the form of SuperjhWriting, and measures of the potential for inequalities in agricultural and pastoral societies, with variables for fixed community wages and animal husbandry and bride wealth. The V variables are standard cross-cultural sample variables and include writing and records. Finally, a number of variables relating to temperature and climate are included. The unrestricted model reveals support for 4 variables, including the network lag term or autocorrelated dependent variable, animal husbandry and bride wealth, writing and records, and dependence on hunting. In the final restricted model, those same variables are strongly supported along with a temperature variable. In this case, SuperjhWriting and writing in records are the strongest predictors. Dependence on hunting has the expected sign, as it is assumed that hunting societies will not have Olympian or monotheistic religious types. Finally, the diagnostic tests report that the model is sound. Now, what to make of these findings? First, the original Sanderson and Roberts study receives support here, since this model reveals similar predictive relationships and their fundamental argument is supported, if not enhanced, in this study. Next, it's important to note that support of the network lag term variable does suggest the influence of spatial diffusion. This is one map that demonstrates the prevalence of religious types throughout the world, with larger circles representing monotheistic religions and subsequently smaller circles representing Olympian, communal, and shamanic religions respectively. Of course, the spatial diffusion of religious beliefs is not a surprise given what we know about the spread of religious beliefs via missionization and conquest. The concept I want to push here comes from Alexander, who suggests we look at religious evolution in terms of earlier and later periods of evolutionary time. The current study assumes an earlier period of evolutionary time and the independent invention of new religious types. Hence, the spatial diffusion found here might be a relic of a later period of evolutionary time, but this is one major issue to be worked out. Finally, what does it all mean? It seems the relationship between social complexity and religious complexity is still observable, especially given the inverse relationship between hunting and religious type. The analysis of the influence of writing and records by Sanderson and Roberts also remains valid. However, the support of the animal husbandry and bride wealth variable may provide a new twist to this research. At this point, I believe we are beginning to reveal what Max Weber called the process of breakthrough, which is the precise moment when a society moves from one evolutionary type to another. The revelation of the bride wealth variable, along with writing and records, is providing a granular view of the workings of a society's process of breakthrough. A tentative assumption made here is that societal stresses, such as inequalities among pastoralists, may lead to a preference in a new religious type, which is further supported by new technological advances such as writing. Later, religious beliefs evolved more rapidly with the development of what Robert Bellah calls mythos speculation, which is allowed by the written word and leads to further development of deep religious thinking. Moving forward, future research will be conducted with a new model that includes variables for agriculture, population size and warfare, and use of SuperjhWriting without writing and records. Needless to say, the fundamental quality of the present model remains. Finally, a deeper narrative analysis of the evolution of religious forms would be an excellent supplement to the research that is currently underway.